Yeah. You don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. This is that Ebolations part dose. Dosey dose. Here I am at my job, taking a breaky break. I do fine when I'm sober, when I'm not smoking. That like my frequency is better. Like as much as I might be like short with people, like I might get more pissed off, or like there might be like more conflict. At the same time, like I do let things go. Maybe that is the whole thing, is that you can let go when you're smoking. I've seen like some thoughts or like some writing that it impacts like your exhalation, which I understand. I mean, it is influencing your breathing. And part of like the exhale is like letting go. Yeah. Like I have higher energy, more, more present, more lucid, talking to people, being social. That is for sure. As much as sometimes it can be hard because I can be overwhelming to people or like draining. Like I can be too much doing the most. It's kind of like, fuck it. I mean, that's like the best kind of people are the ones that don't stop themselves. But see, I gotta work on my thinking. This is what I meant in the earlier video, and I'm gonna do callbacks to the earlier video. And this is Ebolations, episode 2, and I want to be consistent. This might get me there. I was talking about kind of like the cringe sometimes of how it might be socially. And then like the circularness of like my thoughts, like, cause I'll think good and I'll feel good, but then I'll think bad and I'll feel bad, cause I shouldn't stop myself from how I am with people. Or if I am overwhelming, then that's too bad, right? But then at the same time, like those people who are like radically truth tellers and like radically like genuine, I feel like they get cut down, because it's like you're like resisting like the reality of everything, like you're like imposing your will, like you're creating like actively. But it is true that I have so much in life to be grateful for. I'm alive. I have good people. I have good friends, good family. Life is what you make of it. Like, that's so simple and so easy, but it's true. Like, and I want to get into being boring. I read something that really resonated with me that usually doesn't. It was talking about being boring. It was talking about demons pushing you towards like the taboo, like doing drugs, doing, sex acts or whatever else, like edgy stuff. And it's like the way is boring. Like if you want to, do good in school, if you want to do good in business, if you want to do good with people, I mean, like it's about like the boring, monotonous, like rote, like type of stuff, right? Like the volume, like, You know, you're gonna get better at talking to people if you like are sober and you talk to people again and again and again, right? Like if you don't take any shortcuts. Also, going back to the beginning, first episode, I talked about my manager that would make fun of me basically, like in front of the other guys, because I would talk so much about like these alpha males, what he said. And like my first thought was like, you mean winners? Like, yeah, I'm not gonna be looking up to losers, or I'm not gonna be interested in that. Like, yeah, I am interested in leaders and like, you know, the greatest people in history, but you know, he was just trying to like knock me down. I'm sure he's well studied on those people also. Or maybe he was pointing to like my obsession, my idiosyncrasies. Like I do get stuck on stuff, or like I can be obsessed with things. Part of that with like the whole like the great men in history part, he for sure did clock me, where it's like, well, I don't have like, you know, good male role models, like a father as an example. So yeah, I do like look to history. I love history in general anyways. But I don't know. I want to live a more boring, simple lifestyle. Like no one really cares about politics, or they shouldn't at the end of the day. Like these talking heads or these politicians or whatever you want to call them, you know, they don't pay my rent. Like they don't give me food. I mean, that affects, and like there's an influence obviously. I like the saying, and I'm such a quote guy, so I'm gonna just start, you know, getting in my quote bag for these ebolations. There's an insect on my windshield. You know, to the man who has no interest in politics, politics will take an interest in you. So I do like politics, I do like history, but I'm trying to cut out all the bullshit. Like, you know, I can't keep spending money on drugs and like smoking or like doom scrolling. You know, time is precious. I'm only getting older. All these like far off things in the Middle East, whatever is going on at any time, any part of the world, government, politics. I mean, what am I gonna do about it? You can't please everybody. If everyone was like me, if I had everything the way I wanted it to be, it wouldn't be a good thing at all. That is what gives me so much like hope and solace. I remember I went on a trip to Death Valley by myself, and actually I went because I was sad about a girl at the time, because she was a whore. And I remember there was this billboard that said, lean not on your own understanding, but on his. And it was amazing to see that, like with like the backdrop of Death Valley and like all these, you know, I think it was like some clouds in the sky. But that makes me feel so much better. Like, I'm not the creator. I'm not the one who designed all this. Like, I'm not the author. Like, you know, if it were up to me, it wouldn't be this way necessarily. So that really helps with the whole like letting go and like radical acceptance. So yeah, Ebolations episode 2. You know, it's nighttime. I'm on break right now, working at my night job, doing the night shift. But yeah, it's funny because like if I were all like, this is like out, this is trash. I'm over here hitting cybernetics anyways, or maybe it just needs a charge. Either way, I'm cooked. So yeah, like I come into the job and it's like a very different frequency, a very different energy. Like I am walking around everywhere, checking in on everything. Like, you know, if people are pissing me off or like I don't like a coworker, like I can get over it more easily. Like, I'm not stuck. Like, I'm not so, like, stuck in the rumination. It is true. You do ruminate more. Maybe. I don't know. I always liked, you know, weed or whatever mind altering drugs for, like, kind of, like, creativity or, like, a flow state. Because sometimes it helps me with the whole, like, dialogue, inner dialogue. That is my favorite thing. Because I always have an inner dialogue. So for me to not have that inner dialogue is a huge help with like just fucking tasks, you know? And like, of course I want to fold laundry or I want to do the dishes or something like fried because it's like so boring. But, you know, I guess I was talking to a friend about this. They made it funny. They were like, this dude talking about some, you know, demons find me a good time. It's true. Like, if I'm always just like seeking sensation or some type of thrill, you know, like some next drug or some club or some party or, you know, some new girl, all this stuff, like, you know, what about me? Like, what about like my peace and my rest and my soul? Yeah. I don't know. It's wild as I get older, for sure, like a lot of my preferences, a lot of my taste like changes almost in opposite ways. But the one thing going back to the like lean not on your own understanding, I have no understanding of like life or of like myself even. And as I get older, like knowing that is what helps more, because I feel like it's foolish of me before or being younger to be like, I know who I am, or I know life, I know the world, and like all this stuff. And it's like, no, like you have some misconceptions, or, you know, you have blind spots, right? Some cognitive dissonance, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, but I want to break out of this whole like circular, because, you know, 12 minutes into Ebolations 2, a whole lot was said and a whole lot of nothing at the same time, and you can apply that to anything. And that's what I want to get rid of, is like that whole like cancellation, you know, -1 +1. No, I want, you know, substance. Like I want progress, you know, like layers, you know. I keep having thoughts, I keep having like philosophies or strategies that basically like amount to nothing, and it's not fulfilling, you know. Like I want like tangible, like I want fulfillment, you know. It's like I want God. Like that's the only thing that's like there. See, but there my mind goes, because I'm thinking about like the whole like alpha and omega thing. Like, I mean, if you're first and you're last, like what is that? Maybe that is something that is inescapable. Like, I mean, I think about the universe, going into like why I want to talk about theories. People think like the like, let's say time lapse of the universe might be like a heartbeat or something, like Big Bang, expansion, heat death, you know, singularity, fuck if I know, you know, Big Bang again, right? So you know, it's like a circle.